Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Okay, I kind of just freaked out a little bit because it said low internet connection, not connections available. See, everyone goes through problems, but we're good now. I swear, every time I press the button, something like always pops up where I'm like, which is why everyone fails. You got to start somewhere, right? Which kind of goes into the question of the day. So, like I said, if you guys ask me questions, I'll keep answering them. This one came from somebody that was, wanted to come into my group, and I asked people, what are they struggling with when it comes to social media? And this one is kind of, it's not really a question. It's more of like a statement. That's kind of like, I can see like fears jumping out of the statement. So this statement says, starting blog, I write it down over here, so I'm looking down. The statement says, starting blog, vlog, podcast, all the things, which is great. And then they say, struggling to create a brand that will stand out on multiple platforms. So this statement really makes me upset, and it makes me like want to shake somebody. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the first thing that they say is starting a blog, vlog, podcast. That's amazing. That's what you should do, right? Do that thing, right? Because what they're stating is that it's not like they said, hey, I've been doing this game for like 5 years and I don't know what, like something's not working. I'm not getting anyone to view my videos, whatever, and then asking a question about their brand. They say that they are starting, right? AKA they haven't started yet. And then the second comment that they make is struggling to create a brand that will stand out on multiple platforms. This is the thing. If you guys don't start, you'll never know what your brand is, okay? I think a lot of us start, like whenever we get an idea, and I can say this because this is how I used to be. I used to get an idea, and the first thing I would do is I would look up people that were doing what I wanted to do. But the problem is that when we search online for people that we want to emulate, they're on their chapter 20. Have you guys ever seen that quote where it's like, don't compare, also my fingers are like fogging up. Sorry about that. Have you ever seen that quote where it's like, don't compare somebody's chapter 1, or don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20? That's what a lot of us do when we start out in our online business or our personal brand on social media. We go out there and we look at somebody that has 15 million followers, and when you're at 15 million followers, you're probably have a couple mil in the bank. You have like a manager, you have photographers, you have videographers, you have other people, you've already outsourced all of that for your business, and you have other people creating the content for you, which is great. But that's not the position that you're in. If you're just starting out, I highly recommend that you go and look for inspiration with people that have between 1,000 to 3,000 followers. So they're just a couple steps ahead of you, right? Because they're already past, when people start their first live stream, first video, I'm not saying, like, no one ever starts out perfect, okay? But you always want to take notes of people that are just a couple steps ahead of you, because that means that they've probably already made the mistakes that you probably will make. So you can skip a couple steps ahead. But what you don't want to do and what you want to avoid is going and comparing yourself to people that have 1 million followers, even like 50,000 followers, right? Because if they have 1,000+ posts, they've done the dirty work, and they've done, they've passed that point of like, okay, what's my brand? What's this? What's that? Like, you can take notes from them, but don't get into I guess I should say sinkhole, because that's really what it is. Sinkhole of comparing yourself to people that are on chapter 20 when you're on chapter 1. So this question, starting a blog, vlog, podcast, start there. Just start. Trust me, you figure out your brand on your way, right? When I first started doing live streams in this Facebook group, I thought that I had to be like professionally set up behind a desk. I thought that I had to like, make sure everything was normal and okay, and like the lighting was good, and like I had 5,000 pieces of equipment set up, like my computer was stacked on books, so it was like at my eye level. And now look at me, I'm in my car, I've set my phone on the steering wheel. Because for me, I realized that I was wasting so much time getting set up for live streams when I give my information best when it's off the top of my head, when you guys ask me questions, and when I just do it when I'm ready, when I have the free time. And now I go live. I go to the gym at noon. So I always go live right before my gym class because it's always the time when I'm in my car. I always have, 15, 20 minutes of free time where I'm usually just sitting here listening to a podcast. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to commit to go live every single day in 2019, besides the weekends. And, sometimes I'm going to be at a conference and then I won't be able to do it. But that's my commitment to myself. And so far, I'm absolutely loving it. Like, I love that change that I made. And you don't know. And it's so funny because I actually started hashtagging car rant. And when I did a park rant, or when I was in the park in Miami, Kelsey, one of the girls in this Facebook group, and even Nancy just said, I love your car rants. Thanks for the tips, right? That is now a part of my brand. I wasn't expecting that. It wasn't in a business plan. It wasn't like a master thought that I had. It was just something that I did. It was a change that I made in my business to be better with my time and working wise, right? Because I have this slot of time and it's easier for me. I don't get all anxious and like nervous and like, oh my God, what do I say? Because I like make up this time in my head of like, oh my God, I need to go live at like 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go live when I have the thought in my head and when I can help people and when I have that free time. And I realized that I had this time slot of 15 to 20 minutes before I go to CrossFit. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start going live in my car, even with the foggy windows because it's raining out and I guess it's hot in here. But anyways, Kelsey was like, when I was doing a park rant she called it a park rant. I started walking around in the park in Miami and she was like, oh my gosh, a park rant. So it's like now part of my brand is where I do my live streams, right? So tying this back to the question is, you're not going to have all of the pieces to your brand mapped out on day one. And even if you do, shit changes, okay? A lot of things change, right? The absolute best thing that you can do when it comes to your brand and starting is knowing what you're passionate about, knowing how you can give value to people, and then just simply showing up consistently, okay? Because I can guarantee you, if you overthink this whole thing, if you overthink, I want to start this, but then how do I get people to watch? Don't worry about it. That's why I use SEO. That's why I'm telling you, you want to start a blog. Actually, this person had a blog, vlog, podcast, which is 3 out of the 4. Pinterest, blogging, YouTube, podcast is what I say for search engine, because if you set up SEO correctly, people are going to be directed to your content regardless. How? Because they're searching for it on Google, okay? That's why I say if you're only relying on Instagram in your marketing strategy and you're just starting out and you're not using advertising, you're gonna have a really, really, really hard time standing out. So tying this back to the question, starting a blog, vlog, podcast, struggling to create a brand that will stand out on multiple platforms. Your brand will stand out, okay? And you just have to start because you will find pieces of your brand on your journey. For example, my car rant. I've been doing live streams for a year. I just started doing this in January 2019, and now people are loving my car rants. Now they even call them park rants. That's now a part of my brand, okay? So sometimes things just happen when you simply just start doing it. And like I said, that wasn't in my master business plan. It wasn't something I magically thought up. It was just easier for me to do it before I work out at the noon class. So, and another thing that I said earlier in the live stream for the people just popping on, if you guys have any questions watching now, watching the replay, let me know in the comments right now because I love answering questions live. Another thing that I said earlier in this live stream is that if you are just starting out, or let's say you're 6 months in, a year in, which telling you right now is still just starting out, okay? Don't compare your chapter 1, year 1 to somebody else's chapter 10 or 20, year 10, year 20, right? Because they already have that millionaire successful business. They already have like the 20 VAs. They already have people creating content for them. You don't have that yet, which is okay. Everyone starts from the beginning, but this is what I want you to think about. I want you guys to start emulating. I want you to look at those people as inspiration, right, for how to create content. But when it comes to, you know, how to do something on a budget, or like maybe you need inspiration from people that are just like you. That's exactly what I want you to do. I want you to look at people that are a couple steps ahead of you. So if you have 100, or if you have 1,000 followers, look at the people that have 5,000 followers, okay? If you have 10,000 followers, look at the people who have 15,000 followers. Don't look at the people that have 100 million followers like Kylie Jenner. Because why? She's not doing any of the work herself. She's not taking her own pictures unless it's a selfie or a Snapchat. Like, she's not, you know, staging the photo shoot. She has all other people working on that for her. So like when we're first starting out, we're doing all this shit on our own, right? So we have to emulate. We can look up to those people for inspiration, but we can really take the strategy of people that are like a couple steps ahead of us and put those systems into our business, right? Because more than likely they're in the same shoes that we are. So don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. And if you're just starting a blog, vlog, podcast, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, all you have to do is start. Don't worry about the fancy logo. Don't worry about the fancy website. You are your personal brand. You showing up, especially on live stream and video, that's all you have to do. You're your brand, right? You get to see the person. You get to see what, you know, where they do live streams, in the car, aka car rants, right? You get to see like what, you know, types of quotes that they put out or the content they start producing. You don't have to have all your ducks in a row right when you first start out. Nobody does. But if you never start because you're thinking 20 steps ahead, you're really never going to get anything done. So tying it, if you guys have any questions or you're loving this, let me know in the comments. Just drop some emojis, drop a GIF, just say hey, whatever you want to do. So let me tie this back around because I'm almost finished. So if you're just starting a blog, vlog, podcast, you're not struggling yet because you didn't even start, right? You're only struggling if you do it for like a year or two and you're like, okay, like I still only have 1 follower. Like that's when something might be wrong. And then you can ask a strategist like myself. To stand out on multiple platforms, don't create problems before they exist. You don't have any problems yet. Okay, so Tanmay said, here's what I've seen as well. If you start posting your content, people will tell you what they want. Exactly. And no longer, you won't need to create content, or the content for your audience will do it for you. Don't be attached to the content is what I've realized watching the greatest marketers. Exactly. If we become emotionally attached to the results, we will never get shit done because we are so hyper-focused on vanity metrics where it's like, oh my God, I got 10 likes last time and now I only got 1. Or maybe I got 100 viewers on my last video and now I got 5. It's like, if you're obsessing over that, if you're obsessing over the follow unfollow game over the good intentions, which is like giving value to your people, making sure you're consistent and showing up every day, that's a problem, okay? And you need to make that mindset switch because this game, you will not last in your online business if you're doing it for the followers, the likes, the vanity metrics, the money, all of that shit that doesn't matter, okay? People will be attracted to you if you have a voice, if you show up, if you bring value to the table, if you have experience with what you're talking about, and you talk from your personal experience, okay? Like, gone are the days of copying other people. Gone are the days of needing a fancy logo on a fancy website, and gone are the Kim Kardashian era, or gone is the Kim Kardashian era, where you need to be this fake person in social media. That's just not how it is anymore. The more you show up authentically, the better results you're getting in your business. So I challenge you, maybe this weekend or next week, I challenge you to make a really vulnerable post and posting every single day for the next 7 days. That's my challenge for you. And I guarantee you will get better results with that than what you are currently doing if you are currently struggling on social media. Because why? People are going to be able to relate to you if you didn't buy your followers and likes. And if you don't have robot followers and people have hearts, they are going to relate to you. So, like I said, if you're watching now, watching the replay, say hey. I'm going to sign off and I'm going to start doing my song at the end of my video. But if you guys love this video, let me know in the comments. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And might go live tomorrow or Sunday, but I'm usually sticking with weekdays. So I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, amazing Friday, And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.